What's up, scratching for a meal? How you doing, buddy? So the giveaway, buddy. Believe it was my phone died, man, and had to charge it up for a second. I ain't really been able to charge it today, but I just wanted to go over a few more things with the channel and what's gonna happen and everything like that. And I want to congratulate Ohio Scratcher again. I'm glad you won, buddy. Hi, Kim Sari. And like I said earlier, I'm sorry if I was talking your guys' ear off, but that's just me. And like I always try to tell everybody, everybody's different. Everybody has their own way, and people with their own way for a certain reason, and there's nothing wrong with that, man. But I really do appreciate you guys listening to me, stuff like that. But as you guys start coming in and watching more of my streams, you'll see how positive of a guy I am. You know what I mean? I'm a very positive guy, you know, and that's not a bad thing. You know what I mean? It's always good to be positive, guys. Positivity is not a bad thing, and negativity is not a bad thing. But I do appreciate you guys all coming in. But I wanted to scratch this one last ticket. Once some couple more people get in, we're gonna scratch this last this Willy Wonka ticket. We're gonna scratch this one, guys. And then once we get a couple more people in here. Yeah, I know, Charles. You know it. Like I said, man. Everybody's different. Everybody's unique. They're their own person. Everybody thinks in a different way. Which, in all actuality, if people just sat back and thought outside the box, no matter what anybody thinks, it's not wrong. You know what I mean? It's not wrong. Nobody's wrong for how they feel. Everybody has the right to their own opinion, has the right to their own feelings. You know what I mean, Charles? And to me, when I was growing up in that, you learn, like, as we do these streams and everything, I'll open up to everybody. I'll be true with everybody. I'll be 100 with everybody, because when I was growing up, I was raised by an Indian woman. My grandma was an Indian woman. She lived on the reservation. And not sure if anybody, knows, how Indian people are, but one thing I picked up from her in life was she always used to tell me when I was a kid, man, and I carried this with me through my whole life, and as I got older, I kind of understood. I didn't understand when I was a kid, but she always used to tell me when I was a kid, man, that, no matter what you do, no matter what the outcome of anything is, ain't none of it bad. You know what I mean? And she always taught me one thing, and this is one thing, like, when I was a kid, she always asked me what I wanted to be in this world, and I was always the type of guy, you learn from me. When I was growing up, most people wanted to be a football star. Most people wanted to play basketball. Most people wanted to do this. I was the weird guy. I played sports. I was a 5-star. I was a football star. Almost went to college, blew my knee out and stuff like that. But I would have traded all that. I always wanted to be a psychologist, I always wondered why people did what they did, think what they think. You know what I mean? And I was always raised to think outside the box, which, in my opinion, I think that's one of the biggest problems we got in this world right now is people are not accustomed to thinking outside the box and understanding that everybody has a voice and their own opinion, and that no matter what anybody says, it ain't wrong. It's just everybody has their own perception, and people take it. I think in the world today, people take that wrong, and they try to separate themselves like, oh, this person's right, so I'm gonna go with this person, or this person's right, I'm gonna go with that person. When all actuality, all you got to do is be happy with yourself. Whatever you think, and if you're happy with that, that's okay. And to me, that's biggest. The biggest thing I always hear. And when I started this YouTube stuff, I started because I used to sit there and scratch tickets for my kids and shit. You know what I mean? And when I was a kid, I never really had nobody to really hang with. You know what I mean? My dad was a hard worker. He worked all the time. Always made sure I had everything I need, but he wasn't always there for when I needed somebody to talk to and stuff like that. So I took that in perspective, and I found something that I enjoyed and that my kids enjoyed. They like scratching lottery tickets. They're like me in the sense that they like that thrill. So I did that, and then I created the channel. And when I created the channel, I didn't create it to sit here and get everybody to buy all these tickets and do this and do that. I created the channel because, in all actuality, when we're here doing this stuff, it's fun to scratch these tickets and everything. But the best part about it is, even though we scratch these tickets and we may win and we win money, the best part about it is we hear a story from each and every person that comes in here and comments. They tell a little something about themselves in a way. And to me, like I said, me always wanting to be a psychologist and learn about people, I find that awesome. You know what I mean? And you learn that everybody's so much different. Hi, Sorota. Hi, Green Path. Sorry, I'm just on a little rage. You know what I mean? I had, in all actuality, I had some stuff happen today. When I was younger, I wasn't the best person. Being honest with everybody, like I told you, and I used to be an alcoholic and stuff like that, and I lost my first kid. She's 14 years old. I love her to death. You know what I mean? And I ain't got to see her in 14 years, but earlier today, I got a phone call from her, and it was really awesome. You know what I mean? And some of the stuff she said to me, it was really touching. And it's crazy to think that even though me as a man, I made all them mistakes, and I wasn't in her life, she still appreciated me. You know what I mean? And the reason why she told me she appreciated me was because for the life that she needed. And at the time, I thought I could, but I couldn't, and I don't regret anything that happened. You know what I mean? And that's another thing in this world that people make a problem with is they try to hide behind everything instead of try to make it better. You know what I mean? And back on like about my daughter. So like I said, I ain't seen her in 14 years. I got a phone call about 2 hours before I came on and scratched these lottery tickets and everything. And first time I talked to her in 14 years, and she asked me a simple question. And I always told myself when it came to that point and she asked me, I would never lie to her. And she asked me, she said, Dad, I've always known about you and everything, and I respect everything that happened, and I appreciate it. She goes, yeah, I didn't like it that you went into my life. She goes, but the number one thing that I really appreciate is that even though you went in my life, you made sure I had the best thing I could have. You gave me the best. You know what I mean? And to me, that right there was an awesome feeling. You know what I mean? And I didn't lie to her. I told her, I was like, I was an alcoholic. I did things I shouldn't have did. You know what I mean? Because I used to make excuses for myself. Say, oh, because of this this is why this happened, and this is why this happened. You know what I mean? Because like I said, when I was in high school, I was went to state championships in football. I was highly recruited. I could have went to Miami Hurricanes. I had scholarships. You know what I mean? And then I made a dumb choice one day after high school when I graduated, and that changed my whole life around. You know, and at that point in time, I got real in a dark spot, and I let negativity, which is you're always going to hear me talk about this. I let negativity be negativity when if you really sit back and think about outside the box, negativity is not negativity. There is no negativity in this world. Negativity is only when you allow it to be negativity. In all actuality, negativity is positive if you think, because if somebody tells you, hey, you're messing up, this is what you need to do, and this and that, instead of taking it being negative, take it as being positive. Like, okay, somebody really believes in me, and they're telling me that if I do this, I can do better. So instead of letting it get you down, make it push you to do better in life. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's the problem with, a lot of people that I've met, you know what I mean? They always want to make excuses, but when she told me that, I told myself I can't make excuses no more, and I didn't lie to her. And, I can't change what happened for them 14 years, but what I can do is what I told her. I said, look, baby girl, I said, I love you, thought about you all 14 years. I said, but I don't want you to take this the wrong way. I said, but as you get older, you understand there's two different parts of adulthood. Everybody grows up. Everybody grows up. But there's a difference between being a grown-up and being mature. When you're mature, you understand. And you take responsibility for everything that happened in your life. I told her. I said, and I do. I said, I'm not making no excuses. I love you. And, we're going to work on that. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. It's, but that's, in my perspective, though, I've always noticed that's a lot of people's problem. They always want to let people bring them down when they shouldn't. You know what I mean? And then another problem with society in my eyes is, and like I said, I wanted to be a psychologist. I took classes for it and stuff like that. And I picked up stuff, and I realized that a lot of the problem in the world with people is they're scared of the truth, and sometimes when people are truthful with you, you hate them when you shouldn't. When all actuality, you should be thanking that person, because at the end of the day, that'd be like me telling somebody like, hey, look, you're fucking up. You need to do this. You need to do that. That may make that person mad at me and hate me, but when they get mature, they'll understand what I'm talking about. Instead of that other person on the other side of them telling them, oh, you're okay, you're doing okay, when all actuality, you're not. You know what I mean? And that's one of the messed up things in this world, man, is people are scared of the truth. Hi, Maya, how you doing, darling? But we'll scratch this ticket right here, man, and I won't well, honestly, I can't tell you why you play lottery so much, but It could be probably a couple things and the reason why, maybe it's just something you like to do, or maybe it makes you feel part of something. You know what I mean? You just never know. It's you. At the end of the day, you got to know why you do what you do. Everybody has their own reasons behind what they do, and there's no wrong reason why you do it. But that's just my opinion. You know what I mean? Like I said, everybody has their own opinion, and it ain't wrong and it ain't right. You know what I mean? It's whatever you feel, that's what you feel, and everybody should be respected for that. You know what I mean? But that's kind of why I always, I'm positive with everybody. I'm a positive person, and I try to, give my best advice. But me myself, I'm a believer that if somebody asks me something and I've never experienced it, I really can't give them advice. You know what I mean? Because then I'll be lying to them. Because I'm telling you, like, oh, this is what you should do. How do I know that's what you should do if I've never experienced it? To know, hey, you could do this and you could do that and you could do this. You know what I mean? And that's pretty much where people get everything bent out of shape. Is they're so worried about. Exactly. You know what I mean? You'll learn in this world that you're gonna meet a whole bunch of different people, and they're all gonna have their own opinion on what's right, what's wrong, and stuff like that. But you know, at the end of the day, you just gotta respect what they say, and support them. You know what I mean? Like some people may say, "Oh well, scratching lottery tickets, you're just wasting money." But you know, that's their opinion. Some people scratch lottery tickets like we are now. So communicate, talk, have a good talk, listen to what everybody says, and I appreciate that. And hopefully one day, hopefully you guys understand what I'm saying. But we didn't get no winner on this tickets, guys. Sorry. But I do appreciate all you guys. Yeah. Ain't nothing wrong with that, darling. Ain't nothing wrong with that. See, I do the same thing too, but like I said, when I started this stuff, I started it for something for me and my kids to do, scratch tickets and stuff like that. And my last giveaway, my kids were in it and they enjoyed it. And, you know, they may not have been the greatest at scratching tickets or nothing like that, but it was just a smile to see on their face, you know what I mean? And everybody commented real nice things about it. And they liked all that. That's one of the reasons why I scratch lottery tickets. And that's why I always like to give away stuff and stuff like that. just because, you know, at the end of the day, I want everybody to feel, you know, how do I say? I want everybody to feel happy about themselves. Yeah, exactly. Everybody needs to feel like a family. I want everybody to come into the channel, feel comfortable, be able to say what's on their mind, and know that everybody that's in there will understand what they say and respect, and not, you know, judge you because of what you said. You know what I mean? And like you say, you know, you go watch all these other channels, and I did too. You know, I did my homework on them, and I learned. You know, some of them are in it for certain reasons. Some ain't. You know, there ain't no wrong way. To, you know, they all got their own thing what they want to do with it. But what I'm trying to do with my channel is not only, you know, scratching lottery tickets, having a good time, but I want everybody to know that, you know, we're all family here, whether we know each other or not. Maybe it's just this little screen we know each other from. You know what I mean? And exactly. You know, at the end of the day, sometimes, you know, when you go on some of these channels, you know, you watch them and they're fun. You know, you don't get me wrong. You know, I go into all these channels, I buy into their books, and you know, I chat with people and stuff like that, and you know, I don't judge nobody. I listen to everybody what they say. I don't give them no negative feedback and stuff like that. You know, and then you'll see in like some of these channels where people, they're like, I guess, how would you say? I guess like nasty towards people, which they shouldn't be. You know, because at the end of the day, you gotta think, man. Like, if you're being nasty to that person, how you want that person to treat you back? And me myself, you know, and I think what's gonna deteriorate me from all the other channels, you know, is that I'm always gonna be honest, and you know, I'm not gonna just be here just to scratch some tickets, you know, and see what kind of money I can get out of people and stuff like that. You know what I mean? That's not the ideal when I created it. You know what I mean? I wanted it to be a channel where people could all mingle, have a good time, you know, and communicate between each other and get to know each other. Who knows? Maybe one day you meet them in person, and who knows? Might become a long lasting friendship. You just never know. Just kind of show people there's more in the world than, you know, just hey, how you doing? Do you wanna buy this ticket? Do you wanna do this? You wanna do that? Or, you know, oh, don't be writing this on my channel. Don't be writing that on my channel. You know, this is how you know, I had heard over an incident about somebody was on a channel, and the person that asked somebody else if they had seen a video or seen something, and the other person got really, really nasty with them for no reason. You know what I mean? And you know, went all the wrong way about it. And that's the kind of channel I don't. That's the kind of channel I don't want to have. You know what I mean? I want that channel that everybody can come and be like, hey, hey, how you doing, buddy? Sorry about that loss on that ticket, or hey, buddy, better luck next time, and I had to worry about that other person getting all mad at them. You know what I mean? Because I've learned from some of these other channels that a lot of people don't want to. How do I put it? A lot of people don't want to be. I guess be like how we say, be nice to people. They're all about themselves. You know what I mean? And really, in life, you really can't be that way. You know what I mean? You really can't be that type of person that only cares about yourself, because that's all you care about in life. You ain't gonna have nobody. You ain't gonna have no friends. You ain't gonna have nothing. You're gonna be lonely, sitting in somewhere in a house somewhere by yourself with with nothing. You know what I mean? And that's pretty much like a lot of the problems nowadays with all these. Exactly. Ain't nobody better than nobody, man. Everybody's their own person. You know what I mean? Hey, this person might make $5 more an hour than this person, but it don't make that person no better. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, if you can look yourself in the mirror and say, hey, look, I'm happy with myself, that's all that should matter. Shouldn't never matter what another man thinks about you or another woman thinks about you. Because then that's when that negativity plays in the factor, which, like I said, people mistake negativity for a bad thing, and when actuality negativity ain't. But it shouldn't matter what somebody else says to you, because at the end of the day, if you're happy the way you are, that's all that matters, man. Ain't nobody, ain't nobody perfect. Ain't nobody, like what how would we say? Ain't nobody, above another person. You know what I mean? But that's the perception now. If you ever sit back and think outside the box, and think about it one day. If you guys are ever, you guys are ever just sitting there at home by yourself one day, you know what I mean? And sit there and be like, what's the biggest problem with people nowadays? And then you'll realize the biggest problem with everybody nowadays is they're so worried about what everybody else thinks about them when they shouldn't, man. It don't matter. I don't care if you know what I mean? I don't care if you live in a cardboard box underneath a bridge. That don't make you a bad person. You know what I mean? But you'll drive down the street and you'll see people that will talk bad about them, call them stinky and do this and do that. Oh, you're nasty. Nah, they ain't nasty. They just had choices that they made and it put them there. You know what I mean? Don't make them any worse than you or any better. Some people just be hard on luck. And that's the sad truth, man. And that as it really is. It's the sad truth that so many in this people in this world try to separate. Like, you know, my biggest pet peeve with the world is right now is that everybody want to say this. Oh, I'm this, I'm African American, or I'm white, or I'm Mexican, or I'm Puerto Rican, or I'm this, and I'm not. But at the end of the day, really, you're not none of that. We're human beings. We all bleed the same. We all got the same organs. We all got the same everything. You know what I mean? Until we can come to that conclusion, man, the world's gonna be the way it is now. And and in all actuality, some people may believe me about it, and some people may not. But in all actuality, that's the perception they want you to believe. They want you to believe that's right and wrong. When it's not, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, and that's all and that's all you've been taught, hey, here's what it is. Like I said, though, but at the end of the day, everybody's got to understand it. Everybody's their own person. Ain't no right, ain't no right way to be, and ain't no wrong way to be. It's the way you want to be, and as long as you're happy with that, that's all that should matter. You know what I mean? And I say all this stuff because a lot of this I experienced in life, and I'm a firm believer, growing up, that you shouldn't give people advice for stuff you've never experienced because it is really too hard to, you know what I mean? And that's when how I was telling you before, you get them fake friends, and then you get mad at the real friends just being real with you, you know what I mean? And it really shouldn't be that way. Because really, man, people always try to make a like a perception of this is what it's got to be right when it don't. You know what I mean? Where is there in a book that tells you this is right and this is wrong? There ain't no book. You know, ain't no book about, hey, this is what you do to grow up and you're gonna be happy, or you're gonna experience this or you're gonna experience that. Ain't no book for that. Like school. They try to teach you all this stuff in these books and tell you, you're gonna use this in life and you're gonna use that in life and you're gonna do this. When really, in all actuality, about 90% of the stuff they teach you in school, you don't use at work. You know what I mean? I don't use half the stuff they taught me at school at my job, you know? But when you're in school, they're telling you, oh, if you want this nice job and you want this and you want that, you got to have this and you got to have that and you got to have this. When in all actuality, if you want something, you got to want it yourself. You got to set yourself some goals, and you just keep pushing them. You know what I mean? You just keep pushing forward, and not everybody's gonna succeed at first, but if you don't succeed at first, don't give up. Keep trying. You know what I mean? And that comes back to where I was telling you earlier. Ain't nobody perfect, because if everybody was perfect, there wouldn't be no problems in this world. You know what I mean? In all actuality, everything in this world happens for a reason. You know, and if you ever sit back and you think about your life from growing up as a kid to an adult, you know what I mean? And this is what I'll do for the ones that's in here. Do me a favor. I'm gonna tell you what I'm about to tell you, and then what I want you to do. I mean, you can do it if you want to. If you don't want to, you ain't got to. But I think if you did, I think you might see it a little different. You know what I mean? And what I want you to do is I want you to one day when you're at home or whatever, driving in the car to work or whatever, and you're by yourself, think about everything that's happened in your life, and think about, you know, everything you always wanted when you was a kid, and then think about where you're at today. And then what I want you to do is I want you to comment on my video and tell me if you're happy with yourself, if you're happy with what you did in your life, or if you're not, or if what you're achieving so far is not enough, and stuff like that, you know? And in all actuality, there ain't no right or wrong. Ohio Scratcher won, Miss Diaz, darling. He won the spot, and then I gave some tickets away. Dallas Scratcher won a win all. Check that out. Dallas Scratcher won a win all. I mean, it was only $15, but he won a win all. But like I was saying, Charles and Green Path, you know, you guys seem to be the ones that keep commenting. So, you know, I don't know how old you guys are or nothing like that. But I really do appreciate you guys listening to me and, you know, asking my opinions. And that's why I think what I just asked you guys to do, you two might be the ones that can actually sit back and be like, you know what? I'm here today because of this. And whether you wanted to be where you're at today or not, I'm about 99% sure you guys are happy no matter what with the outcome that happened in life. You know what I mean? And when you can do that, when you can sit there and tell yourself, you know, even though I didn't become this superstar or I didn't become this doctor or I didn't become this firefighter or I didn't become this, at the end of the day, I can tell you that I wouldn't change anything that happened because, like I told you, everything in your life happens for a reason, and it happens because it makes you who you are today, the type of person you are. If you're a strong individual, if you're the type of individual that don't take well to criticism, or the individual that acts like they're way better than the next person or whatnot. And like I said, you know, there ain't nothing wrong with that. But all I want you guys to do is just honestly comment me and tell me, like, hey, I can honestly say I'm happy where I'm at. And even if you're not, that's okay. You know what I mean? Because like I said, you always gotta set a goal in life. And you can't just set one goal. You always gotta set a goal after that. And then set a goal after that. And set a goal after that. And why you gotta do that is because you'll learn in life that you gotta keep pushing yourself to, you know, be a real strong individual. You gotta push yourself or want something in life, even if you don't achieve it. Point is you tried. You know what I mean? And really, in all actuality, if you think about that too, it's not a bad thing that you didn't try. You know what I mean? Because like I said, some people are not as strong as others. Some people are scared of failure. Some people ain't. But if you can honestly look yourself in the mirror and say, hey, look, even though I didn't, succeed with all this, and I didn't, become who I wanted to be, but I can actually look in the mirror and say, you know what? At the end of the day, I am happy with who I turned out to be, and I wouldn't change that. You know what I mean? If you can do that, that's what I meant when I told you there's a difference between being grown up and being mature. When you can do that, you're mature. Because like it's anything in life. Like anybody can be a father, anybody can be a mother, but it takes a real man to be a dad or a mom. Because anybody can have a baby, but a dad will take care of his kid, give him his best, whether it may not be the best that somebody else could give their kid, but did their best and can honestly look themselves in the mirror and say, look, you know what? Yeah, I may not have been able to give my kid these Jordans every year. I may not have been able to do this for my kid and give him all these fancy games. But you did your best. You know what I mean? You gave them what you could, and you made sure they had what they needed. The clothes, the food, the house, and everything like that. And like I said, that if you ever sit back and think about it, you'll see like that's one of the biggest problems with the world nowadays. Everybody want to act like, oh, well, I had this one, I'm better than you, when you're not, man. You know what I mean? And that falls right back into where I said that, ain't no person bad, ain't no person, ain't nothing wrong about whatever you do in life. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Only thing wrong in life is if you at least don't take a chance. You know what I mean? Because me as a man, you know what I mean? I set goals and I set more goals. You know what I mean? And then I set more goals after that. Like when I lost my daughter, I set a goal that I was going to change. I was going to become a better man and not turn into who I was turning into. And when I set that goal, I didn't give myself a timeline because there ain't no timeline. You know what I mean? It is when it is. It happens when it happens. But from that point on, you know what I mean? I never look back. I never like, hey, because of this is where I'm at. No. I always look forward. I said, you know what? Even though that happened, I'm going to make the best of what I got. And I'm going to at least try to do better. I'm going to at least try to be a little better than what I was before. And then when I got to that step, then I'm like, all right now. Okay, I did this. Now I want to do this. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I say in life you got to set goals. That's the number one thing, I promise you. And like I said, I never make anybody believe anything I say. All I ever ask from anybody is just listen. That's another thing wrong with this world. Nobody wants to listen to nobody. Nobody wants to listen about how everybody feels and just, don't judge them. Just say, hey, like, speak your mind. You know what I mean? Speak your mind. Whatever you say, I'm happy with that. I'm fine with that. I'm not going to judge you. All I'm going to ask you is that after you said all that stuff to me, all I want to know is if you're okay with that. If you're okay with that, I'm okay with that. If you're not okay with that, then I'm going to help you to be okay and help you to where you want to be. You know what I mean? And that's why 90% of people in America don't have nothing, because a lot of them don't have the will to just keep pushing no matter what it is. You ain't even got to set a big goal. Like me, I didn't. I realized my biggest demon was drinking. So I set me a little goal like, hey, look, I need to quit drinking. I need to figure out the best way to do this. You know what I mean? It took me 2 years to quit. It wasn't like something you can do overnight. Ain't nothing gonna happen overnight. And through that transition, I never always, I messed up in that transition. But even though I messed up a couple times, I never gave up. I always kept pushing. And that's why I say, you should always set goals, but don't set a time limit, because you can't set a time limit. You can't say, okay, I'm going to stop drinking. I'm going to quit drinking tomorrow, because it's not going to happen. You know what I mean? Nothing happens overnight. And some things, take a little while longer. And even in that process, it might take a detour. You might do, a little U-turn, and then you're there. And that's not wrong. And there ain't nothing wrong with that. But when you do get to that point where, okay, I said I wanted to get to this point, then set you another goal. And like I said, I was an alcoholic. I wanted to quit drinking. I quit drinking. And I had my son. So I told myself, like, look, I didn't have an awful childhood life, but there was things I didn't get to do and things I didn't have that I wish I could have had and stuff like that. So I told myself from that point, this is my next goal. My next goal is to not look back at everything I did wrong and blame anybody. I said, and regret for what I did. I said, but my next goal in life is now that I have another son, you know what I mean? After I had my daughter that's 14, I had another kid. And I told myself, you know what? I'm not going to sit here and regret anything that happened, because it happened for a reason. And if it wouldn't happen, I wouldn't be where I'm at. And I set my goal to, like, hey, I'm going to better myself. I'm going to make sure I take care of this kid. You know what I mean? I make sure I'm there. I never really had my dad to talk to or anything like that, because he was always working. He was a great man. I never say nothing bad about my dad. But I never really had that father figure to talk to, you know what I mean? And have him listen to me and stuff like that, because my dad is a great man, but my dad was also the kind of man that he just wanted you to do it. Like, hey, don't think about it, just do it. Instead of like, hey, you know what, son? Okay, what you want to do? You know what I mean? Like, I'll support you on the way. Take your time. It wasn't no take your time. It was now, let's get it over with. This is what you're going to do. You're going to graduate. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. You're going to do this. Instead of looking at me and say, hey, son, what do you want to do in life? I'll support you no matter what. So, like I said, I did that for my son, and I always tell him, like, hey, look, boy, I don't care what you want to do in life. That's your decision, and I will support you with anything in your life, and I can honestly say I can, like, not trying to be weird or nothing, but for instance, like if he came up to me and was like, hey, Dad, I like boys. Okay, son, I'm okay with that, baby. What else do you want? You know what I mean? Okay, you want a husband? That's fine. I'm okay with that. I'm not going to quit talking to you. You know what I mean? And nowadays, that's a big problem in this world. Parents can't accept their kids for what they want to be. They want their kids to be a certain thing. They want them, we want you to graduate, go to college, and get a good job. You know what, though, at the end of the day? Yeah, that sounds all good on paper. But, in my opinion and what I told my kids, because like I said, I got a 14-year-old, I got a 9-year-old, I got a 10-year-old, and I got an 18-month-old. And my 10-year-old is my son. And he came up to me a couple weekends ago, and he was like, look, Dad, You always want me to play football because you played football. I said, no, son. I don't want you to play football because I played football, son. I said, I want you to play football because you want to do it, baby boy. Don't do it because dad wants you to do it. In life, you got to do it because you want to do it. In all actuality, you ain't never going to achieve nothing in this world unless you want it and you do it. And he was like, well, Dad, I ain't going to lie. I really don't want to play football. But I didn't want to make you mad because I know you really like it and you want me to play football. And I was like, you know what, son? I ain't going to lie to you. I would love to see you play football, baby boy. I said, and you're good at it. I said, but at the end of the day, my biggest goal is to make sure that you do what you want to do in life. Don't try to be me. Don't try to do what I do. Be you and be happy. I was like, I'm not saying you got to go to college. I'm not saying you got to do this. I said, the only thing I ask of you, son, is to get a high school diploma. I said, because nowadays you can't get a job without it, baby boy. I said, other than that, I don't care. If you want to go and get out of high school and you want to go be a bum and you want to go live underneath the bridge, I will support you no matter what. And he was like, you know what, Dad? He goes, honestly, I don't know what I want to do in life. He goes, I want to do this and I want to do that and I want to do this and I want to do that. And he was like, but I don't want to make people mad because I didn't do something that somebody liked. And I was like, look, son, there again you go, baby boy. I said, there again in life, you got to want it, baby. I said, I don't care if it takes you 30 years from now to become who you want to be. I said, all I want in life is for you to come up to me and say, hey, Dad, I'm happy with who I am. And I'm glad you supported me. And, to me, that's the best thing in the world. You know what I mean? And you can carry that on with your friends. You can carry that on with anybody. We can carry that on with how we're doing right now, how you guys are listening to me. You know what I mean? And I'm not sure how old you guys are, but I'm 35. I'm sure you guys are a little older than me. You know? And a lot of other people that's older than me, when I try to talk to them and, and I'll be like, hey, look, this is what I feel, you know what I mean? They don't want to listen because they think they know everything. But in all actuality, nobody knows everything. Nobody's got the right answers. But at the end of the day, if you can't learn to be open and take different ideals from people, no matter their age, their sex, their race, their size or whatever, if you just listen and, at least give thought to what they say, you can actually look yourself in the mirror at the end of the day and say you're happy with yourself. Because one person might say, hey, look, this is what you need to go to college. You need to go here and work and make $100,000 a year. And then this other person might sit over here and say, hey, look, you just need to go work at McDonald's because they'll pay for your college and you can do this. But the only thing you really got to listen to is yourself. You got to go look in that same mirror that them people are looking at you, because in all actuality, you think about it, when you look at other people and you tell them about, what your opinion is of them, it's like looking into a mirror, because you're looking into that person and telling them like, hey, look, this is what I feel, and I'm only telling you how I feel. You take it however you want to. You can listen. You ain't gotta listen. You can, take some of my advice and then add some of what you do and put it together. And, and just, I think that's the biggest misconception in life nowadays is it about what everybody else thinks. And they be thinking that, oh, because this person makes all this money and is rich and everything like that, he's happy. You know what? At the end of the day, 90% of them rich people are not happy because you can't buy love, you can't buy friends, you can't buy none of that. You know what I mean? Money to me is just money. I don't care about money. I know it's gotta, you gotta make it to pay your bills and make it in life. But I would never let money dictate who I am or dictate the kind of person I'm gonna be. Because at the end of the day, this is another thing, I'm just asking you guys to listen to this. This is from when I took my classes. This is stuff they teach you to, you know what I mean, to help people. And it's not made to tell you, hey, this is right or wrong. All it is something to give you something to think about, like, hey, and then you take it from whichever way you want it. Because, like I told you, in real life, there is no right and wrong, really. They tell you, like how I told you, they teach you stuff in school. Hey, you got to do this to do this. But in all actuality, you don't have to. What you got to do is take what's best for you, put it together, and do you. And like I said, at the end of the day, look into that mirror and say, hey, where I'm at today, I'm happy. And if you have to look in that mirror and you tell yourself, hey, look, where I'm at today, I'm not happy, then don't be negative about it. Be positive about it. Set you another goal. Like, hey, look, I'm at this point in life, I'm still not happy where I'm at. So now I want to achieve this. And then push for that goal. Instead of looking in that mirror and saying, hey, I'm not happy where I'm at today. So I'm just going to give up. You know what I mean? Because they're worried about what the other person thinks when they shouldn't. You know what I mean? And in all actuality, that's the weird thing about this world is people think these perceptions like it's hard to explain, but when you're taught one thing and they tell you that's the right way, how they should teach you is to say, hey, look, this is a route you could go. This ain't necessarily the right route because the only one that's gonna know the right route is you. You know what I mean? Can't no man teach you and say, hey, look, you got to go this way if you want to be successful, because you don't. Because I've met people that didn't have nothing, not even clothes on their back. And 4 years later, I seen the same man driving a brand new car and, filling his cart up with food. And it was really weird because the man walked up to me and he was like, hey, man, you look familiar. I seen you somewhere, bro. And I was like, well, I don't know, man. I said, I see a lot of people. He was like, no, bro. I seen you over on such and such street. He said, and you told me, bro, even though life would bring you down, bro, it ain't never too late to fix it. And the only way you going to do something in life is if you want it. And he was like, it took me a while to understand what you said. He said, but I figured it out. And I was like, what's that? He goes, I figured it out. He goes, I was happy with being, a bum and lonely. He said, and then I woke up one day and I told myself, you know what? I'm done with this. I need to at least get me a job, get me a little apartment, get me something. And he was like, 2 years later, I got my own apartment. He goes, then I told myself after that, I want to get a car. He said, and I want to have a kid, and I want something to, something that I can distill and give them advice and help steer them in the right way and let them make their choices like I did in life. And I was like, oh yeah, man. He was like, yeah. He goes, but it was weird because when you said it, you said, look, man, ain't no right or wrong way, but if you want it bad enough, you'll do it, bro. And that, you know, ain't no time limit on it. And I was like, yeah. So I tell everybody that, man. I said, everybody I talk to, I tell that too, man. That, you know, there ain't no timetable, too. But if you don't at least push yourself, then that's when the issue comes. You know what I mean? And like that's where I told you, it's not bad to fail, and it's not a bad thing to fail multiple times.